Okay, now we're talking about analyzing influences, all right? When we're analyzing influences, we're going to do our own research on what we're going to look for, okay? The book does a great example on this one. It talks about a young man who's looking into getting a pair of shoes to play sports. Young man has went out, he's earned the money, so on and so forth. So he's going to now research what shoes he wants to get. He narrows down to 2 pairs of shoes, all right? He's going to look at this one pair that is probably isn't as well known, probably costs a little bit less. He's also going to look at this other pair that, well, the big sport athlete has endorsed in that sport. And he's going to get input from other people. And you're going to get input from other people whether you know it or not. Okay, whether we're talking this situation, I think of girls in prom dresses, all those things kind of factor in. You're going to get input from people, whether you directly know it or not. You're also going to get input from the media. Okay, go back to that situation with the shoes. You've seen the ad on TV. This kid saw an ad on TV that the sports star was endorsing the shoe because he wears it and he thinks it's the greatest thing. It makes you run high, run faster, jump higher, and everything else. Okay, those things all affect influence your decision making. Okay, and then once you've gotten all your information, you must now come to a decision. What do you want to do? All right. Young ladies, like I've said, prom dresses, they spend time, they he and they ha, they look at the price, they wonder if they can afford it, they wonder if this other dress maybe looks just as nice and costs half as much. They're going to make 101 decisions, and at the end of the day, that's your decision, okay? But we want to make sure that we realize the influences that are affecting our decision, because sometimes those influences are not affecting us in a way that is very positive to what we are trying to do. Now, to go along with these things, all right, kind of shifting gears a little bit, we're going to talk about communication skills next. These communication skills are very important in just how you can interact with people in your daily life, all right? And really what it comes down to is what we're going to call interpersonal communication. This is basically the sharing of thoughts and feelings with other people. All right. To be a good communication and good interpersonal communication, you must be able to listen to the thoughts and feelings of others. Okay. You know, I always think of the people that are what I call the me people or the I people. Well, I feel this, I feel that, I feel you should think this way about it. I think you should feel that way about it. All right. Well, fine and dandy. It's a good thing that they can tell you your feelings, but at the same time, you must be able to listen to other people's thoughts and feelings as well. Okay. Part of being a good communicator in general is you got to know when to speak and when to listen. This is where I refer to as you were given 2 ears and one mouth. Someone was giving you a hint when they did that, all right? Also, to go along with interpersonal communication, you must be open to new ideas, okay? Now, when I say this, I'm not talking, certain things like, if you have your beliefs about something, it doesn't mean you have to listen to a new idea. What we're saying is that if you're working on a project with somebody and all of a sudden someone comes up with, shall we say, a different way of thinking about it. Maybe this is a new idea and how we can make this idea work better. You must be open to those ideas. Yes, it didn't come from you, and that's okay. That's okay from everyone. All right, but you must realize that if it's a new idea, give it a chance. Sometimes you'll find by actually stepping out on that ledge and giving something a chance, you actually make the process a much better process for everyone involved. Just because it's a new idea doesn't mean it's a bad idea, all right? Um, right now in our political scene in this country, I think this is an idea that a lot of them need to learn from. Is that it's funny because you have two different opposing viewpoints in our government. One side comes with a new idea, and everyone says it's a bad idea just because of this right away. Might not be a bad idea. They need to learn to listen to each other and work together and make things happen as well. Like I said, interpersonal communication. The other thing you must be able to do in interpersonal communication is you must be able to speak and listen efficiently, all right? Yes, when someone's telling your thoughts and feelings, you must be able to sit there and listen. But at the same time, if you have issues, you must be able to speak those ideas and thoughts out to other people. Otherwise, they just may eat you up inside. Part of being a good communicator is you have to do both efficiently. And coming along with the communication skills, there's really two important skills that you must learn at your age. One is the ways to say no effectively, all right? And the first one on this is what we're going to call the stop method, all right? Stop method's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. S means you say no, and you say it in a way that people listen and are going to listen. Tell them why you don't want them to do it, okay? Say someone asks you to go to your friend's house. You get there and you find out, oh, they've snuck out mom and dad's, shall we say, alcohol out of their private cabinet. Okay, tell them why when you get there, no, I don't want to be here because they have alcohol here. It could affect me being able to play different activities I'm involved in. Offer a different idea. Okay, that's the O. Such thing in this situation. Hey, instead of going here, instead of having that out, let's put it back and let's go play basketball down at the park instead. All right, you're providing an opportunity for everyone out. All right. And the last thing on the P is promptly leave. If they do not want to listen to your ideas, that's fine. Then remove yourself from that situation. Yes, sometimes in life you'll make hard decisions, but by making the tough decisions, sometimes you spare yourself. I can't tell you the number of times I've heard stories where kids have said, "Yeah, I knew this was going to be trouble, and I still didn't leave." And then they get in trouble and they wonder why. It's not worth it. If you've said no and you told them why you don't want to do it and you gave it alternatives, guess what? You can't change other people's mind. You cannot stop other people's free will. If they freely and willingly want to be there, that's fine. You also have the free will to leave. Just make sure you make the right choices. Well, and the second part of this is you must learn how to say no effectively, okay? And sometimes this comes down to just what we talked about. We talked about the stop. How do you say stop or use the stop method effectively? This comes from that, but there's other things in life you're going to have to say no to, and people will keep pushing and pushing until they get you not to say no. You, at a certain point in time, as I say, you got to put your foot down and just let them know no means no. Okay, and how you can do that are use a firm voice, all right? Use direct eye contact and serious facial expression. Okay, some people will be like, okay, that's easier said than done. Everyone's idea of a firm voice is a little different. Most of you know that if I say no to you, I'm probably going to say it in a firm voice. I'm going to look right at you and I'm going to have a pretty serious face. I don't expect all of you to be able to do this effectively or at this point in time, but it's something you must work at. It kind of comes back to what I just said, where somebody asks you to go do something and you really don't want to do it. The first thing you have to do is actually look at them and say, no, I am not doing it. And that's the final. That's the final. And if you actually put your foot down right in the right way, in a very serious way, people will listen. I also think of this as where sometimes somebody's going to ask you to, maybe move somewhere or do something in your lifetime, and it's just you don't think it's in your best interest. And being able to say no lets them know how serious you are about it. Okay, this is even where somebody's joking around saying, "Yeah, we should go do this and this and this," and they're serious when they say it, and you just, like I said, you got to put your foot down, and being able to say no is a very efficient way of letting them know that you mean business. All right, from here we're going to talk about conflict resolution skills, okay? Conflict resolution skills are basically the solving a conflict, right? Everyone's dealt with conflict in their life. I mean, geez Louise, I was a kid on the kindergarten or out in the schoolyard. There was always arguments. There was always older kids picking on younger kids and vice versa. It's just a part of life. It's how you handle those skills as they come up, okay? And obviously conflict is simply a different point of view or disagreement. So that different point of view and disagreement is it needs to be solved in a manner that is effective for all parties involved. Okay. When it comes to the actual resolution skills itself, you must be able to peacefully resolve a disagreement. Okay. It doesn't mean that you resort to fighting and arguing just to resolve it. Yes, you may have a disagreement. Yes, you may argue a little bit, but as the saying goes, you must use a calm and cool head to actually resolve that situation. Um, I always add this part to this. It's not in your book, but there's always, you got to realize two things that are going to cause the most conflict, whether it be between you and your friends or your buddies or even family members. And this is even true of governments around the world. There are two things that cause the most conflict. Number one is politics, okay? In the United States right now, we have a deep divide between our two main political parties, and it causes a lot of conflict amongst each other, amongst people from day-to-day lives, whether people be at work, just passing each other, friends in the hallway even. All right, this is a very real issue, and it is out there for the world to see. Then also religion. Religion is actually the number one cause of war in the world. Okay. A lot of people are like, that can't be true, but it is. Okay. Religion is, if you look over time, that has been the number one thing. You had back in the 1500s, they had the things called the Crusades. Those were basically religious wars. You go back even further than that, you look at different beliefs. You go back to the Roman Empire; theirs was based on religions a lot of times. You go back even to Iran and Iraq and some different places around the world, and different religious beliefs factor into those things as well. And you have the ongoing war in Israel and the fight between the Muslims and the Hebrews. These are wars that have been caused, and we're talking hundreds of years. Even go back to the French and the British back in the 16 and 1700s. A lot of those wars were based on religion. All right, here are some tips for solving conflict. All right, one, take a time out. Don't be afraid to give yourself a break, all right? If you just had a different one of you and you realize both of you are getting kind of getting a little angry at each other, it's a good time to take a break. Stop visiting. Walk away from each other. All right? It's okay to walk away sometimes. Now, I'm not saying you're running from the fight. You're just being smart enough to realize that you're getting angry, you're getting worked up. It doesn't pay to stay at that point in time. From there, once you do run into this person again, take some time to talk, all right? And give each other a chance to talk. That is very critical within all this, all right? You must be able to listen to each other. You must be able to speak each other. Wait, what's that called again? Oh, yeah, that's called interpersonal communication. Be open to the idea they may be saying to you. I'm not saying you have to agree with it, but just be open. Don't judge them on their comments alone. You gotta let them speak their mind because they're gonna let you speak your mind. Third step is you gotta also let them ask questions. So if you're gonna put an idea out there, you better let people ask questions about it, all right? If you don't, you're actually just short-sighting yourself, and basically you're saying it's that way because I said it's that way, all right? At times, in certain situations, that is an appropriate answer. I have students ask me that all the time. They're like, why do we have to do this? Because I look at them saying, because I said so. And they know that when I say that, they mean I mean business. You don't have that luxury yet. You're not the authority in most situations, all right? You have to be able to communicate and work together, all right? When you are asking questions, be mindful of how you ask the questions so that it does not lead to more deeper issues, or probably, shall we say, feelings hurt. Last thing is, how do you find a creative solution without causing more conflict, all right? How do you make it a win-win situation? How do you let them know that, that's fine, this and this and this, we need to make this work still, okay? Sometimes the win-win situation may just simply be that, hey, we'll just respectfully agree to disagree. That's okay. Not everyone's going to get along, all right? And not every idea is going to meld and gel. You just got to realize the difference. And the last thing we're going to talk about is what we call advocacy. We're very familiar with advocacy in this part of the country right now. It's taking action in support of a cause. All right? There's some of the simple ways you can do it are you write letters to the news editors. These are letters to the editor. Collect signatures and send them to the local government to get things done. Obviously, in North Dakota right now, we're very familiar with the DLPL protesters in the camps and everything else. These are forms of advocacy. All right, that's section 2 in a nutshell. Make sure you read it, and we'll visit more about it come tomorrow. All right? Have a good day.